Hey guys, I'm Comire. Playing Smash Bros. And I think I'm about to win a short for the very first time. This is Start Select, and I think it's about time we summed up the Smash Bros. DLC fires. So Nintendo and DLC have had a bit of a slow to start relationship, to say the least. I mean, Nintendo have embraced downloadable content the same way your grandma embraced that smartphone you got her last Christmas. But it has been pretty good when they have used it. So with the final video presentation come and gone, I think it's about time we summed up all the DLC files to Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS. Starting with the first one they announced way back in October 2014. The genetically engineered Pokemon that's half Dragon Ball Z villain, half overgrown cat mix a return from Super Smash Bros. Melee. And it's almost exactly the same as it was before. Just replace Wave Dashing with a Final Smash that looks like what happens when you sneak back home late and your mum catches you. Mewtwo uses its psychic powers to do things like reflect projectiles and turn its whole body into a faulty plug socket. But its real asset is in its massive tail swipes, like in its up and down tilts and up air. And don't forget its down air is a Meteor Smash. So if you think you can control Mewtwo, give it a go. I just hope you do better than the last people that tried to. Speaking of psychic powers and weird packages, Lucas may look like the Pokemon trainer 2 Pidgeys and a Nidoran, but his elemental PK attacks can be super effective. His moveset uses a lot of disjointed hitboxes, which are hitboxes at a distance from a character's hurt boxes. Simply put, whenever he makes a hexagon, it's a lot easier for him to hit you than for you to hit him. And between his dash attack, neutral air, back air, down smash and up smash, this kid likes hexagons way more than he likes breezy shorts. Lucas's grab also works as a tempo recovery, and his final smash has changed from a rain of falling stars to a focused column of death. Just like Ness. And speaking of clone characters in the game series that's trying to drop that gimmick 60,008. Big Boy Roy, the 15-year-old army general from Fire Emblem The Binding Blade, first drafted in Super Smash Bros. Melee as the poster boy for Japanese strategy games, now re-recruited to show that even if you look like a live-action role player that's taken things a bit too seriously, you can still dish out some major hurt. Roy's moves are almost identical to his counterpart, Marth. He's quick and his blade is quicker. He can easily chain combos. His fully charged Hold B delivers an instant KO. He's like a scary balance of Marth's speed and Ike's power, and makes the phrase Attack of the Clones a little less embarrassing than it used to be. Roy's attacks are most powerful at the hilt of his blade, close to his fist, as opposed to Marth, who's more powerful at the tip of the sword. So you want to get in close when you're using Roy, but you know who else's power comes from his fists? Aside from the little guy in the blue morph suit, Ryu is the face of Capcom. And it makes a welcome addition to the Smash Bros. Cast, where you can avenge the murder of his master Goku on the Master Core, rather than a Toyota Camry. As well as having the normal Smash inputs, Ryu has several variations to his attacks in the vein of Street Fighter. You can use weak or strong attacks depending on if you tap or hold the A button. You can also input Street Fighter's trademark quarter and half circle turns for stronger versions of his special attacks. Ryu is also the only character that can use more than one Final Smash depending on if you're close to or far away from your opponents. At this point, Ryu has more attack variations and Street Fighter 2's had re-releases. But you shouldn't feel too out of place in Smash Bros. I mean, if he really wants to fight a blonde guy dressed in red with an annoying voice, he can have a go at Shulk for a little bit. Hopefully then you'll realise you won't need a footprint bigger than your head if you really want to do some damage. But speaking of huge third-party characters, move over Lackey 2, get out of here Randall, there's a new Cloud in town and he's got strife. That's right, the soldier turned mercenary has joined Smash Bros. His inclusion has no doubt been somewhat influenced by the Final Fantasy VII remake, garnering interest in him like Marth and Roy in Melee and like Pit in Brawl. I mean, at the end of the day, the video game industry is just one big theatre dancing the same rhythms. Cloud waves around his Buster Sword like a Jedi with Parkinson's. His up air hangs his sword above him like a hitbox umbrella, and his side special carves out a kanji in the air like a Japanese pumpkin, and he has a final smash that Ike would swear looks familiar. His down special charges his Limit Break, which is an ability that increases all his stats. So to any shortmates out there that have to choose one stat to increase and one stat to decrease. Sorry, but while we're on the subject of video game protagonists that are waiting rest and release, enter Comire, Nintendo's take on the phrase Dragon Ball. Comire has joined a game with so many Fire Emblem characters, Sakurai's been saying this since the announcement.
Whatever, I do what I want.
While Korin's Omega Yato blade has an edged Leatherface to be proud of, it's his or her's occasional tendency to, I don't know, turn into a dragon, which should make opponents wary. Korin gracefully attacks with wide-spanning dragon wings, has a counter that provides 360 protection, and a side special that looks more like an octa pole dance than an attack. But I think Warrior wants to know when her shift starts. Korin is to Fire Emblem Fates what Robin is to Awakening, the gender-interchangeable protagonist, which is why they can fight as either a male or female. In fact, they even look like each other, right? I mean, apart from their abilities, the only real difference between them is Korin seems to have evolved beyond the need for footwear. And speaking of characters with removed pieces of clothing, fine, you think of a better Link then. The Umbran Witch who has undoubtedly become to some teenage boys what Lara Croft and Slave Lair is to some adult boys. Bayonetta is in Smash Bros. She was the winner at the Smash Bros Fighter Ballot, being the top result in Europe and the top 5 in the US. Because as we all know, those are the only places in the world. Bayonetta comes into Smash Bros with a lot of hallmarks from her original game. Like Ryu, she relies on combos to do damage, frequently kicking her opponents into the air to carry it on. She also uses her Wicked Weave, huge appendages made of hair that deliver crushing blows to anyone in their way. She's topped off with bullet arts. Which, can we take a second to register, this is a Nintendo game, but those are legit guns. I mean, Solid Snake got his taken at the door, but Bayonetta gets to walk around more strapped than a Tarantino film. And then there's the other touches, like the butterflies on a landing, and the roses when she's hit, and the Madame Butterfly shadow, and... Sorry. But one thing the Eagle Eye might have noticed is that Bayonetta's Wicked Weave doesn't reveal as much skin as in her original games. We're now living in a world where Zero Suit Samus and Shulk are wearing less clothes than a woman who spanked a demon into a medieval torture device. Curse you, ESRB and PEGI rating systems. And with a taunt almost as long as her hair extensions, Bayonetta is the last character to be added to Super Smash Bros. For 3DS and Wii U. Smash 4 is a huge game with content bursting at the seams. I almost can't believe how much game there is in this game. 58 unique fighters, 84 stages across both versions, almost 200 Mii costume parts, almost 1,500 trophies, over 500 music tracks, and an 8.5 minute video to barely sum up any of it. It's a series that's tested skill, created incredible moments, and brought together people from far and wide. For me personally, it's been a huge thing in solidifying my relationships with some of the best friends a guy could have. And if this happens to be Sakurai's last contribution to the series, and considering the immense toll it's had in his personal life and health that occurs every time he dedicates 100% of himself to realizing a new game, I kinda hope it is. I think he can be proud of what he's brought together. Thank you, Sakurai. And thank you, Smashers. So what do you think of the DLC Smash Bros. Fighters? I mean, who's your favourite? I really want to hear from you, so leave me a comment down below or follow me on Twitter. Better yet, hit that subscribe button for more of me trying to totally fake not having the hots of Bayonetta. I've been Comire, this won't be the last video, this has been Start and Select. Thank you, and good night. I mean, Ryu shouldn't feel too out of place in Smash Bros. I mean, really wants to fight a crazy green monster with orange hair. You can just pound on Bowser for a little bit. I mean, Ryu shouldn't feel too out of place in Smash Bros. If really wants to fight an evil old guy with red hair and more dark powers he knows what to do with, you can knock 7 shades out of Ganondorf for a while. If really wants to fight a hairy ope that wears a single piece of clothing and barely speaks any English, okay, no, that is way too obvious.